Miss Oprah? Oh, I hope you can see me all right. You see, I don't photograph too well in this place, especially with the fluorescent lights and all. And the white uniforms, well, they just make me look fat. I hope you still remember me. See, my name is Susan Smith, and I did an evil thing. Actually, Miss Oprah, I know you still remember me. You see, my name is Susan Smith, and evil things happened to me. On October 25th, 1994, Susan Smith did the unthinkable. For 9 days, she cried on television screens, imploring for the safe rescue and return of her 2 beautiful baby boys, who she claimed had been kidnapped. At the end of these 9 days, Smith confessed to pushing her car into John D. Long Lake with her sons locked inside. By sending a tape to Oprah Winfrey, she hopes to offer some insight into her seemingly cruel and selfish actions, speak out against the unjust immorality behind the death penalty, and above all, plead sacrifice over insanity. The Susan Smith tapes by R.M. Bond. So, I suppose you're probably curious on why I'm sending you a videotape rather than just writing you a letter. And to be honest, I didn't even know you could get one of these fancy things in here. Well, you see, I'm on sandwiches for the next 2 days, and that's what they call it when you don't get no fork or knife to eat with, supposing as you might do harm to yourself. And well, the warden says that goes for pins too. But I mean, I think that's kind of funny. I mean, there seems to be a lot more sharp parts in a video camera than a little old pin. But I guess you're probably more interested in why I'm sending this in half, huh? Miss Oprah, I'm scared. And so what? Everybody's scared, right? But I'm scared of history. You see, there are a lot of untrue things that have been said about me, and I never asked for this kind of national attention, but I got it. So I think I get to share my story too, don't you? Well, you see, when the incident I did involving my 2 boys came out, there was a whole team of folks at the county district attorney's office working day and night to fix me for that chair. But they lost. And of course they lost. Because I took responsibility for what happened to my boys, and I was slow to it, I admit. And I know I was a tad deceitful with the public at first, but eventually I came around to the truth. And that's all that matters, right? Right? Look, I don't deserve to die. I mean, there are women who were locked up in this place because their husbands was beating them. And women who killed for money, and women who killed by accident, and not a single one of us needs to sit in some metal chair with our hair shaved off to know what we did was wrong. God, anybody wants to march in this place and tell me when it's my time to die? Oh, well, they better look around and ask themselves, when was the last time you sacrificed like Susan Smith did for her kids, huh? You see, most people so selfish, they can't even put a sick dog there. But me? No, I'm not afraid to cry on Wednesday so I can smile on Sunday. Guess you probably want to know about that night, right? That's all anybody ever wants to know about. Well, when I left my house, I was very emotionally distraught. I was like a girl in a woman's body. And my kids hopped in the back seat, Michael, who was 3, and Alex, the baby. As we drove that night, there was something in the smell of the rain. Dead leaves or gasoline, I'm not quite sure, but for some odd reason, it just made me really sad. I think that's when I knew I had to see the lake. Because my golly, that lake was so alive. And it was full of all these catfish that people used to not be able to get enough of. Well, as of late, people don't eat the catfish much anymore. No, you see, people say the lake's been poisoned. Well, I say people are full of hate. As we drove that night, and as we sat by that lake, my boy sleeping back in the car, all I could think was, I want to die. I mean, just like that, right then, right there, the death bullet, and there was nothing I could do about it. But no, I said, no, I was not going to do that to my boys. I was not going to let them live the rest of their lives wondering why they were so bad that I'd rather put myself at the bottom of some lake rather than be with them. So, I made a choice. I made the decision I had you to protect all of us from any grief or harm. And it wasn't hard. I mean, I only had to push the car 3, maybe 4 times before it finally just... And then it flipped over. The car was completely upside down, and I could see the top of their heads bobbing up in the back seat. And all I could think was, you know what? They must be having so much fun! I mean, they must be smiling and laughing. They must be having a great time, right? Later on, they said it was a blessing. Because they took in the water upside down, which is faster than that side up. Painless. But not painless for me. And you know, that's the power of decisions. I mean, there's no going back. No bridge back across time, just keeps getting pressed together, and you think you're just taking a step, but it's really a jump to the goddamn moon. God, I made a choice. In a second. In a half a minute. And it brought the whole damn world to tears, and that's what folks is afraid of, you know. The voice that they got talking to them. The voice deep down that says Susan Smith done right and it may have been horrible, right, but it was still right. No, that's too hard for them to bear. No, they all call me a monster. Because I pushed my car to that lake and I felt nothing, and you know what, they're right. I mean, I wasn't sad, I wasn't guilty, I felt nothing. But I miss my boys from every morning when I wake up to every night when I go to sleep on that god-awful excuse for a bed, but I did what I had to. I made the decision I had to, and in no way is anybody but myself and God going to decide whether I should die for that. Hear me? I am not a monster. Funny, really. I'm not allowed a little pin. But that's okay, really. I think shards of a lens are much more symbolic, don't you? You see, that day at the lake, it just wasn't my time to go. When they was working so hard to fix me for that damn electric chair, it still was not my time to go. I mean, look around. I've done my time. Lord knows I have made my say. I think there's one more sacrifice I have left to make. Michael and Alex, it's time for Mama to join me.